cold out here, man. But in this video, I'm going to talk to you about 5 things that I like about my Gerbing heated gear. Oh yeah. Now that's that good stuff. But what's going on, YouTube? BK Low is back in the building. Alright, so I just checked the temperature and it is currently 27 degrees. Damn! If you saw my last video when I started, it was actually 23 degrees. So yeah, it's pretty damn cold out here. But yeah, so my last video was like my 5 essential items to cold weather riding, right? So this video is specifically going to be on the Gerbing heated gear, which there are a couple components of that I am rocking that I'm going to talk about. But I guess I'll list out the components right now that I do use. So the first obvious one is the Gerbing heated gloves. These are the Heroes. I think sometimes these go under the name of Guide. Yo! Yeah, no! It's always good to run into fans, man, out here. But sometimes they go by the company of Guide, but you know, Gerbing makes these gloves. So the second component that is pretty important to the operation here of riding in the cold is, of course, the heated jacket liner. I would argue that that's actually more important than using heated gloves, because it keeps your core warm, which they say is a lot more important than just having your hands or your feet be warm. Alright, but the next component that I have that's maybe not so obvious is the female to male, or the male to female, or whatever the gender of the cord is, but it's a cord that you need to actually plug into your battery, right? Where you would put a battery tender. Whoa, pigeons everywhere. But you do need that. It is important. It has to do with like the electrical load and all that stuff that I don't really know anything about, but yeah. And then the other thing that you need that's important is you need a wireless ready temperature controller. That's where like the plugs for the jacket liner and the gloves could actually go into, right? So it comes with 2 separate ports. And the really cool thing about it, which I didn't realize when I first bought it, even though it's in the name, is it's made to be wirelessly paired by Bluetooth with a little wireless controller, which I'll talk about why is really, really nice and essential to the whole operation here. But oh my god, what a beautiful winter day. Yes, the good old Kosciuszko. Alright, so the first thing that I really like about the Gerbing heated gear is I'm just going to go out and flat out say that just the gloves on their own, like I could have done a video just for these gloves and how amazing they are in terms of heated gear. So the gloves on the inside are fleece lined. And like even without getting the heat going, I gotta say, they are really warm. Like I could probably wear these gloves on like a 50-degree day or whatever without the heat and still be super warm. So like what I will say is like they're just as warm as any like heavy gauntlet that you would wear, right? Or any heavy winter glove. And that's without the heat. Now with the heat, oh man, that's just like a totally different story. You crank crank that heat on, man, your hands are going to be feeling good. I do usually go to the higher levels on the gloves, so for my cold weather riding, I'm often either between a 5 and a 10, which is the max temperature. So I do tend to go a little bit higher in terms of temperature on the gloves. Now, as for the gloves themselves, man, do they feel great. They're not bulky at all. I can feel the controls. Like, if you guys remember, like a year or 2 years ago, I did a video and I was wearing like 3 layers of gloves just so I could go out and ride in the winter. And I was talking about how it was like, I couldn't even feel my hands. It felt like I had like lobster claws, right? These gloves are the total opposite. I feel like I have just as much feeling and control than I do in my like summer gloves, right? That are much lighter. So they are designed to be ridden. They are designed so that you can feel your controls. And furthermore, besides that, the protection on these gloves is great. Like, it's super, super durable material where, like, if I go down in these things, I'm gonna be pretty confident that they're gonna make it through the fall, you know? Furthermore, they also have the knuckle protectors. Oh my god, sorry, I had to do it. Furthermore, they also have the knuckle protectors, which is always good, right? And I like that they're cut off a little bit shorter. Like, most winter gloves are going to be like gauntlet style or just like a little bit longer. Like, these are like cut off short the way I like them, where they stop pretty close to the wrist, which is really nice to have for a winter glove and still have warmth. So yeah, man, the gloves are essential. Again, they're called the Heroes, made by Gerbing. Alright, so the next obvious thing that I'm going to talk about is the jacket liner. The jacket liner is amazing because if you buy it, like, in the bottom left corner, like close to your waist, it literally, like, the wires, it's wired through so that it's ready for you to just plug the gloves right in through the wrists, and it's ready to go. Like, you don't have to do any wiring, you don't have to do any extra work. Like, Gerbing has built that in to their jacket liner. So the easiest way to get started with all this, I'd say, is really just to get the jacket liner, because again, it is like everything is wired through there that you're going to need. The other thing that I like about the jacket liner is, like, I could, like, you know, when I'm riding in this weather, I'm not on the bike all day. Like, I'll step off the bike to visit the ancient coffee house known as Starbucks. You know, I'll step off the bike to take pictures and stuff like that. Even when I'm off the bike, the jacket liner, like, does not let any air in. Like, there's like zero venting in it. So even without the heat being on, it really does keep you warm. Like, the design is amazing. I also wore both the jacket liner and the gloves in the rain a couple times, and no water got through either of them. So it'll definitely keep you dry as well. And again, getting wet didn't affect, like, the heating or anything like that. So yeah, man, jacket liner makes it super, super user-friendly. I'm wearing a small right now, which fit me pretty well. I think I also tried an extra small just for the hell of it, but that was just like, I was able to get it on and everything, but it was just like riding up on my arms a little bit, so extra small wasn't flying for me. But I figured I'd try it just for the hell of it, because I am an extra small in some of my gear. Alright, so the third thing that I really like about the Gerbing heated gear is, this is major. Like, when I first got the Gerbing heated gear, I didn't have this, but it is the wireless temperature controller. And when I first got the gear, I didn't have this, so whenever I would want to change the temperature on the gear, it was like such a pain in the ass, because I would have to go into the jacket liner, dig out the wireless ready controller, dig out all these wires, and then change the temperature, stuff all the wires back in, and then, like, do the whole process. It was a really, like, it was a lot to do just to change the temperature a couple degrees, right? But with the wireless controller, you know, I literally put it right here in this little bar bag, and if I notice that my gear is too hot, or if I notice that I don't have it hot enough, all I have to do is just pull over, take out the wireless controller, turn the dial up a little bit or turn it down a little bit, and then that's it. It communicates directly into the controller that's in the jacket liner. So make your life easier if you plan on getting this gear. I don't think the wireless controller is that expensive. I don't remember it being that expensive, but like, I'm telling you, man, like when you're getting on and off your bike all day, and when you're riding all day and the temperature is constantly changing, like you want to not have it be difficult to change the settings on this gear. Alright, the fourth thing that I really like is just how incredibly user-friendly this gear is. Like, literally, if you buy the things I just told you to buy, it's literally just plug and play. Like, you don't have to do anything else. Like, I've looked at other kits where it's like, oh, you gotta equalize the load, and you gotta get this special thing, and you gotta make sure, like, this output is right, and all this nonsense. With this, it's literally just plug and play, and that's it. You're good. So, like, the user-friendliness of all of this, including the wireless controller, like, it's so easy to pair it, is really amazing. And like, you know, whatever you set the temperature on the wireless controller, when I get back on the bike, like, it's going to be the same. So that the company really did have the rider in mind, and someone who's going to be riding all day in mind with this gear, because it's super user friendly. Alright, and the fifth thing that I really like about the Gerbing heated gear as a whole is it puts out enough heat that I pretty much feel like layering wise, it's like in the 20s right now, and I feel like I'm layered up to ride on like a 50-degree day in the spring. Like, it really does allow you to have little to no layers, you know? Like, my hands, it feels like regular motorcycle gloves. You know, I don't feel like they're super layered up. I'm only wearing my first MFG Vendetta with only the jacket liner underneath. That's it. Like, I don't have a flannel or a hoodie or anything. That's all you need. So, like, it's so comfortable to not to have to put on, like, a million layers to ride in the winter. And you saw it in my NYDC sweater run. Like, that was a 30-degree day, and I was literally wearing the jacket liner with a Wu-Tang sweater over it. That was it. Like, there was no jacket or anything. Oh, I did have my first MFG low-side vest. That was an essential component to it all. But yeah, I love having the freedom to not be weighed down by a million layers. And like the Gerbing products, man, they're like top of the line, so they put out enough heat where you don't need to layer up. It's amazing. And yeah, so that's like the 5 things that I really love about Gerbing. They're a great company. You know, I waited way too long to pull the trigger on that stuff. I'm glad I did. I wish I would have done it years ago. It would have saved me a lot of pain and a lot of cold rides. I'll put the link below, and that's all you need to get started. That's it. But that's really all I have. If you use heated gear, or you're thinking about using heated gear, leave me one of the flame emojis in the comments. I'd like to see who everyone is that is considering this stuff or actually uses it. I'm telling you, man, if you ride on the East Coast or you ride in cold conditions, it is a game changer. Alright, but I hope this video was helpful. If you have any questions or comments or whatever, feel free to leave them below. I'll do my best to answer. But as always, thank you for watching. And BK Low is out.